Thanks, Ron. Welcome to the Creation Wars, number 15. You'll notice that I'm not from Texas, nor do I live in Queenstown, nor is my last name Ratcliff. Said Mr. Trey is currently in Germany. He's gone over there for a few days, then he's going to stop off in Dubai and have a photo walk. That's one photo walk I wish I could make. So welcome, team. And we have a slightly different look this week. As always, in the background, we have Stuart helping to run the show and push all the buttons that I just never seem to get around to. Welcome, Stu.
Hey.
Tiff is doing Twitter and People's Choice and all those wonderful things. And, you know, I have to say, I like being able to see those letters under your face. It's awesome. Not so pixelated. Tiff has got a upgrade to her broadband, so now we can see her. Welcome to the real world and to, 2003 or something. Okay, and we have a slightly different format this week. Instead of using actual masters, we are delving into the path of the protege, which is the path that you would go on if you were an apprentice wanting to become a master. And so someone very wise made a great suggestion that we should include some of these apprentices training to be masters. And so, from my left to my right, Barry. Welcome, Barry. Where are you from?
Good evening. I am from Bensalem, Pennsylvania, U.S. It's just outside of Philadelphia.
Excellent. And whose cohort are you in?
I am with Andy A.D. Wheeler's cohort, the House Light Vendor.
Excellent. And Lisa Speakman, you've been around the show a couple of times before. Welcome back, Lisa.
Thank you, Ollie.
And where are you currently residing?
I am in Orange County, California.
OC. My uncle was in the OC.
Oh, yeah?
For a while. I think he died of a heart attack in that show. Lynn, whereabouts are you from, Lynn?
I'm from the Tampa Bay area in good old Florida, down here where it's nice and warm. And I'm also in A.D. Wheeler's cohort, House Light Vendor.
Excellent. And a previous winner with her work, Nicole Ziegler. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you.
Whereabouts do you hail from?
So I'm from the exact opposite of everyone else. I'm up far north in Canada, in the cold, even though it's actually about 12 degrees here right now, so it's not too bad. And I was from Jessica Lark's cohort.
Nice, and you have graduated now, have you?
Yes, I'm level 20 now.
Of course, that's right, because we did that show with the level 20s. Yeah, so well done. Welcome one and all. Now, Stuart, can you fire up the Extreme Makeover Trey Ratcliff edition image? Because yet again this week we have an image chosen by someone completely impersonal and random, that being me, so that we can have a look at their work and get the masters warmed up a little bit. So, masters, if you go into your chat, there's a little link that Stuart has shared with us. Stu, do you want to run us through any details you may have?
Yeah, this is an image from Carl Crumley, and he has given us plenty of options for you guys to play with in terms of you can do a little different crop, you can change it to HDR, whatever you think this image might need, but he has submitted this one, so fire away.
Oops, sorry, I was muted. Masters, if you could go through and look at Carl's image, and starting with Barry, just give us a couple of lines, give us your feedback on what you're seeing in the image.
Yeah, well, I like the image. I'm not totally sure I like it centered as it is. But again, I'm not totally sure about that. I would like to see a bit more contrast difference between the leftmost side of that building and bring out more of that sunlight on the right side of the building. And it seems as if it might be leaning backwards a little bit in the image, which I think could easily be corrected. Nice image, though.
Excellent. Thank you, Barry. Lisa, what are your thoughts?
I agree with Barry about the perspective being a little off. It looks like it's leaning just a tad, but without having a ruler out, I probably couldn't say for sure. Sometimes images play funny things and funny tricks on our eyes. I like the detail. There's a lot of really nice detail here. The bush in the lower right corner is kind of distracting, but not sure, if that can be removed or not easily. But I like the colors and I like the detail. So yeah, pretty good.
Okay, and thoughts from Lynn?
Okay, I kind of agree with these guys. My only problem with this image is there's too much stuff around the house. I wish they could have gotten this at maybe a little higher angle or something, where all the bushes and things were kind of sticking into basically the image of the house itself. Other than that, I agree with them that it is leaning back a little bit for me. But I love the sky, and and they got the snow is a good color as well. So. Good in that respect, but just a little bit too much stuff going on here for me.
Okay, and Nicole, last thoughts?
Well, this is a little out of my comfort zone. Based on what I like to see in this type of photography, I like to see a little more contrast in the shot, just in the highs and lows. Also, the tile work on the roof, I don't see that here, so I personally would like to see it brought out a little more, because I think it's a little more interesting than some of the other parts of the picture. But that's just from an architect perspective.
Cool, okay, well, thank you, Masters. Should Carl still be watching, he hasn't gone off and hung himself already, if you want to try things like your HDR, Carl, feel free to. We'd always love to see any kind of difference, so that's all good. But yeah, take the comments the Masters have made and have a play, and send us something back by the end of the show. It would be good to see what you've been able to do. Right, so we're going to start the Creation Wars this week. Now, it's, as I said, it's a little bit different. So the Masters haven't brought their apprentices' work in. These training masters from the Path of the Protege have selected images from the super secret artist's atrium hush hush, we're not allowed to say anything, which for anyone under level 10 will just be one of those mysteries that you wish you knew and everyone else seems to know, but no one ever tells you. So if that's you, I do apologize, but for anyone level 10 or above, they were all in the running for having their images selected this week. So these Masters in Training have gone off and selected. So what I'll get you to do, starting with Barry, is share your screen with the image that you selected and tell us why you selected it.
Okay, I'm going to share.
Okay, good.
Seeing my shared screen?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Tonight I'm going to present an image from Janice Sullivan, who is an apprentice in A.D. Wheeler's house Lightbender, my former cohort. Janice has been involved with photography for her entire adult life. She's a fine art photographer specializing in macro landscape and travel photography, and she graduated from the University of Laverne with a bachelor's degree in art with an emphasis in photography. She entered the Arcanum primarily to improve her abilities in landscape photography, in which you'll see that she's made great strides. But she says that her first and still primary photographic passion is macro photography. And Janice frequently blogs from her website at sullivanjphotography.com, where you can find much of her work. And some of the examples I wanted to show before the actual entry tonight start with her work in landscape photography. And as I said, her specialty and her passion is macro, but you can see from these images that she has real talents in landscape photography as well. Some examples of her macro work, including both black and white images as well as color images. And Janice has told me that she spent most of her photography career specializing in macro images of flowers. She feels that we generally enjoy flowers in real life because of their surface beauty, the color, fragrance, etc. But she also believes that equal beauty appears in the details and organized textures that are revealed through macro photography. So now, without further ado, I present for your consideration in this competition an image that I believe best illustrates Janice's goals and her passion, which I thought was just an amazing macro image. I give you the rose. In this image, Janice has included a variety of techniques to arrive at this amazing final result, and I urge you to examine closely the detail, highlights, and brilliant use of focus and lighting that transform the image into one about which a fellow apprentice remarked, "I feel that I can almost reach out and touch it," causing Janice to respond, "That was exactly my goal." I ask for your vote for the rose.
Excellent work. Thank you, Barry. Lisa Speakman, over to you. Can you keep that, keep the rose up? Yeah, thanks, Barry.
All right. Well, I've seen this one before. It's a beautiful image. I don't know how much I can bag on an image from a fellow apprentice in AD's cohort. The only thing that bothers me is that I wish that the green parts, you know, of the stem and stuff were a little bit more fading out of focus. But other than that, it's really a lovely image. So I take the fifth.
No such thing here. We don't have a Fifth Amendment in New Zealand. It does not count. Thank you for
I
your
forgot
thoughts,
we were
Barry.
international here. But yeah, just that one part I wish was a little bit, you know, there was more of a gradient as going from the really sharp parts to the background.
Okay, great. Thank you. Lynn, what are your thoughts?
I really like this one as well. I've seen this as well because I'm formerly part of that cohort as well. I like the realistic aspect of the petals and how clear it is. But I do, as Lisa said, I'm not real crazy about that bright green in the back. You know, blurring it out a little bit might help, but also toning down the green a little bit would make a difference as well, because your eye is kind of pulled right back to that green leaf rather than staying up at the front where the flower is, which is the most important part. And then the reflection, the green reflection at the bottom too, kind of bothers me a little bit. I don't mind so much the red, but that green again is pulling me away from the main subject, which is this beautiful, the petals of this beautiful rose. That's all I have. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. And Nicole, what are your thoughts? You're muted, by the way.
Just realized that. I have to agree with my other future masters. The green is fighting me for this photo. I think it's because of how vibrant it is compared to the red. It just tends to draw your eye in that direction. So I'd agree that bringing down either the vibrancy or the saturation just a little bit will bring your eye back to the main focus, which is the rose itself. But I love the detail and the fact that you can see every little wrinkle within the petals themselves within this photo.
Yeah, it's amazing. For those watching, if you go to the event page, I have posted the link to this image because it's worth clicking on and zooming in, seeing all that lovely detail in those, in that flower. It's amazing. Okay, thank you, Masters, very much. Thank you, Barry, for your presentation. We're going to move along now to Lisa's entry. So fire away, Lisa, when you're ready. While you're getting
All
ready,
right.
actually, I'm just going to do one thing, and that is to remind people via an amazing program called Microsoft Word. If you want to be part of the Twitter sphere today, at Magical Arcanum is the handle that the Arcanum Creation Wars is using. And if you don't want to write that, an equally lengthy and quite difficult to get correct, hashtag Creation Wars 15 is the hashtag that is keeping everyone connected.
Hey,
Out there
everyone
in
on
the
Twitter
business.
doesn't want to change the hashtag either, Ollie. It's not
I
just
know.
me.
It was just, I went to write something last week and I couldn't fit it in because hashtag Creation Wars 15 was taking up too much room. But I appreciate that I'm not in charge. Diff is in charge. I should probably share my screen when I'm talking about that, shouldn't I? There it is, at Magical Arcanum and hashtag Creation Wars 15. Be part of Twitter. And also go to that event page, and I'll post up the links to the images as we go through them. So over to you, Lisa. No, Lisa
She's
just
gone.
crashed. Lisa
She crashed.
fell out of the bottom of the universe. This is where Stuart stands and reads his
Here she is.
latest eulogy to. Oh, okay. She's back.
I had a little technical difficulty there for a second. And it won't screen share.
Okay, so Stuart. Over to
Yep,
you,
I'll
buddy.
get it ready.
Stuart's always ready. You watch this.
Yes. Switching over now.
Of course, this happens to me now.
Didn't that happen
There's
to you
the
last
share in
time?
the chat.
Okay, thank you, Stuart.
And then sharing my screen now as well for you. There you go. Fire away, Lisa.
All right, well, I had planned to share some of his other photos, but I got thwarted by the computer here. But the photo I am sharing tonight comes from Paul Edwards. He is a level 13 apprentice in Martin Bailey's cohort. He is a landscape and nature photographer in Altoona, Pennsylvania. And you can find more of his work at pauledwardsphoto.com. And I chose this photo because I just love water photos, especially waterfalls or oceans or anything of that nature in landscape photography. And water is so hard to get right. And he really nailed the exposure, the sharpness, the flow of the water here. And it's very tricky. It's if you blur it too much, it's bad. If you don't blur it enough, it's bad. And he just really hit the sweet spot with this photo. I like that it's a little darker around the edges and the back, kind of lends it some mystery. And then you see the light coming through the beautiful green trees in the back. And I just thought it was an exemplary image.
Excellent. Thank you, Lisa. Barry, what do you... no, sorry. Lynn goes first this time. Lynn, what are your thoughts?
Okay, I really like this image as well. I kind of was hemming and hawing between this one and the one I actually picked as well. So I'm kind of glad that Lisa picked it to put into the Creation Wars. I am also a big fan of waterfalls and water flowing. I've taken a lot of these types of images myself, and as she said, it's very difficult to get this nice, smooth-looking water without it looking too terribly plastic, and he's done a good job here. Only a couple things that bothered me about this one was Lisa liked the dark areas around the edges. For me, there's just a little bit too much dark in the top corners. I would like to see a little bit more detail there. And then the water, which again, this is a really hard thing to do, is I think a little blown out at the very top of the waterfall right there, where it's really there's a lot of just a lot of white water there, and it seems kind of blown out to me. But other than that, I really like the fact that it's this kind of this V-shaped look to it, and it really attracted my attention. There's so many images on the internet these days. It really takes something special to pull your eye away from all the other images, and this was one that definitely did pull my attention, but mine is going to be more attention getting. So.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, thank you, Lynn. Nicole.
All right. I love how everyone's choosing the ones that I was on the fence about for a little while. So I love this photo. I love the perspective of it because it's. I'm assuming he either had to be really far away with a really good lens, or he was literally right at the end of the waterfall in the water. So to get that, I would say it would probably be one or the other. Not to mention you'd get kind of wet. But nothing really stands out to me as something I would change on this photo because I just like it in its entirety.
Cool. Thank you, Nicole. Barry, what are your thoughts?
I agree. I love the perspective on it. It almost feels as if you're sitting down in the water there or have it rushing around you. I think Lynn's comment about the needing a little bit more detail in the corners, especially the upper left corner. I'd like to see a little bit more there. I love the exposure. I like the fact that the water is nice and white and there's no blue in there. But there's one thing, and nobody's mentioned it, so it's probably just me with a subjective judgment here, but I actually find that one section of waterfall that in the middle, lower middle of the area where the water actually looks like a group of straws, and it's sort of, in my eye at least, it does not fit with the rest of the blend and the smoothness of the water. And I know that's because it was falling in a different area there and creating a different set of shapes, but I can only say that it's distracting to me. My eye keeps coming back to that one area and looking at those sort of straw-like images in the water. Otherwise, I think it's a great image.
Excellent. Perhaps it's just the sheer brilliance that is distracting you there, Barry. Maybe throwing it out there.
That's exactly what it is.
Not that I'm swinging this either way. Thank you, Lisa, for your presentation. Lynn, would you like to screen share? And,
Okay, I'm going to give it a try. Let's see if I can get this to work.
If it doesn't, we get to have Stuart read us some poetry, so I'm happy either way.
Okay, now let's see what I got to do here. It's not working. Screen share. Okay, this is, can you see my image?
Almost. Red screen. There it is.
Okay. Okay, this is not the image I'm using, but the photographer that I chose was Bo Rogers, and he is a level 18 in Angela Pan's cohort. He's also just got onto the path of the protege as well. But he's been doing photography for quite a few years. He started back in 1999, and he's actually he actually 95, and he did some he did go to school for some photography, and he actually has been doing some photojournalist work back in the early days of his photography. He worked for the Associated Press and a variety of newspapers, and he shot sports and other things like that. But he decided at some point that he needed to do something different, so he went to school to be an English teacher, and he's actually a professor at the let's see, which is it? Is the Western Nevada College, and oh no, that's where he went to photography school. He is he does English classes at the University of Nevada, Reno, and Reno's Truckee Meadows Community College. And he actually is not getting a chance to watch the show tonight because he's in class right now. So, which was disappointed to hear. Anyway, he is also teaching. Let's see, what else? He really wants to get into becoming a master in the Arcanum, and in the meantime, though, he just purchased a Sony A7S, which he's really excited about, and he's looking forward to a photography project that he's calling Nighttime in Nevada. So this is one of his images. There's another one that he takes pictures of people. This is somewhat photojournalist in my estimation, but then he also is a very good landscape photographer, and he just took this one recently, but that's not the picture we're going to look at. This is the one we're going to look at right here. And can you see that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
You may have to share a different screen.
Okay, let me share it again. Come on. Share screen. Share. Oops. There we go. How's that? This is the one I'm presenting as my entry for the Creation Wars 15. And can you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
This one caught my attention for a lot of reasons. The first reason was is I am planning. This is from the Palouse area in Washington State, and I'm planning to take a trip out there later this year. And so, man, the minute I saw that name, I was pulled right into this picture. The other aspect about this is that there's a contrast. There's contrast because of the wind turbines, along with this kind of rural-looking location, and then the contrast of the light flowing across the image, and then the sky is got some dark parts and some light parts. I just really kind of like this. It's kind of, even though the houses and the barns and the things in here are really small, it just looks so cool because of the flowing nature of the landscape, and then these contrasting, very modern-looking wind turbines, out in the distance. It's just a really was, to me, it pulled me right in, and I just keep wandering around in this picture, looking at all the different things that are in it.
Excellent. Thank you, Lynn. Nicole, you're up first with your thoughts. Unmute.
All right. Again, love the contrast in it. There's something that bothers me about this picture, and I'm not really sure what it is. Mainly because landscape isn't really my strong. I don't know if it's some of the lines within it, within the breakups between the different farms. It kind of affects the flow of the hills and the light. But other than that, I love it. Like, I just love the color contrast and the depth of the photo itself.
Excellent. Thank you, Nicole. Barry, what are your thoughts?
I think the color in this is just spectacular. I love the color gradation. For me, I would actually crop up from the bottom and remove some of the darker areas of the foreground. It just doesn't add for me that much more to the image, and it also feels a bit unbalanced to the left. So I would crop in from the right and get rid of some of that negative space out on the right to make it a little bit more equal to what shows up on the left. But I love the colors in this one.
Cool. Thank you, Barry. And Lisa.
I sort of agree with some of them. So I sort of agree with Barry on the cropping thing. I would crop up from the bottom, but this just feels, like you said, in a way unbalanced, but I think if he cropped up from the bottom, and then the other thing that kind of bothers me is the top where he's got a really big area of dark area up at the very top left corner that I think kind of starts to pull your eye away. And just something about the clouds and there being so much empty space between the mountains and the clouds is something that I'm not sure what can be done about that, or it just kind of feels weird to me to have that much space between the two and that dark spot up there. So maybe even cropping out the clouds and then cropping from the bottom and make this a really wide shot, which would bring some of the stuff in the distance a little bit closer together. But I do absolutely love the contrast and the light here, which I think some of these really darker, way darker areas kind of pull your eye away from a little bit. So that would be my thing. I'd kind of like to see what this would look like in a more like 16:9 shot, cutting off the two very darkest spots, and see if we can balance it out a little bit that way. But it's a lovely image. This was my number 2 behind the one I chose. So very nice. I like the colors. They're beautiful.
Okay. Tough crowd, bro. Tough crowd, mate. Excellent image, though. So thank you, Lynn, for your presentation, and Masters for your thoughts. Nicole, over to you. What's your share this week?
All right. Well, I have the honor of showcasing Martin Higgs, who is a member of Jessica Lark's cohort, and probably was one of the biggest reasons for my growth within the Arcanum. He predominantly does portraiture, beauty. I'm hoping you guys can see that okay, except it looks like it's going to be difficult, so we'll show it here. So he does hair competitions. He lives in London, so he's got access to some amazing, amazing artists to work with. So on that, I am showing this photo of his. I'm hoping you can all see it okay.
Yep.
All right. I just love the emotion, the feeling that he brings out within the model in this photo. You kind of are drawn into the mystery of it, and is she hiding? Is she what's the word? Waiting for someone? Like, is there a reason why she looks like she's almost has a bit of sorrow? So this is what I show you guys.
Yeah, that's cool. Excellent. Leave it on that screen would be good. Barry, what are your thoughts?
Well, having absolutely no background in portrait photography, I can only, I guess, give my subjective reaction to it. I love the split toning, and I think that works really well. I mean, I imagine this is a perfect pose for this model, but again, not having much background in portrait photography, it seems to work. It seems to all fit. You know, I can't say much more than that because I really feel as I'm not working in an area of my strength on this one.
Okay, good to be honest. Lisa, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so yeah, on this one, and I will preface this by saying that I am in no way, shape, or form proficient at the portraiture thing, but it kind of bothers me that you don't see her eyes. I think that's the biggest thing for me on this one is this a little bit dark there. I don't know, maybe by design is to make it a little more mysterious, but it just seems a little dark, and therefore she kind of feels kind of unreal to me for that reason, I think. So, but I mean, I like the colors. The colors are nice, but yeah, that bothers me a little bit.
Okay, and Lynn, what are your thoughts?
Okay, I have done a little bit of portraiture, not a whole lot. I appreciate the lighting on this, although it's a little intense. This is kind of like somewhat of a Rembrandt type lighting, although the lighting on the left side of the face is a little intense. And as Lisa mentioned, I would like to see a little bit more of that right eye, although there are catch lights in both eyes, so that's a good thing. The coloring is not bad it's kind of a moody thing, so I don't have a problem with that. The only other thing I have an issue with is kind of the darkness down below her arm, and on the left side of the image where her hair is, it just kind of goes off into nothing, which that bothers me a little bit. But the other thing that is, I think it's a function of the lighting, is her face looks a bit plastic to me, and that's always kind of it's a subjective thing. A lot of people kind of like their people to have that kind of smooth skin, but at least in the image I'm looking at now, it just looks a little too smooth for me. Other than that, I do like it though. It's very moody, and like I said, the lighting. There's lighting technique here. It's just, I think it just needs to be pulled out a little bit more, a little less light on the left side and a little more on the right.
Okay, thank you, Masters in Training, for sharing. Now, if you leave that up, Nicole, because what we do now is, if we can all share our images again, we get 30 to 60 seconds, depending on who you are, to maybe talk back to the other Masters about why you think they're completely wrong, which they obviously are, because your image is going to win, right, everyone? So we'll start with Nicole, and we'll head backwards along the line. So Lynn and Lisa and Barry at the end. Just share your image again, and then give us some feedback on what you heard the other Masters say, and potentially stand up for your image and tell them why they should give you 3 talents.
All right.
Over to you, Nicole.
I mean, I can see where everyone's coming from with the darkness in it, but that's what creates the mood within the photo. If there was more light within this photo, it wouldn't have the mood or the depth that you get from this model herself. Skin-wise, me being me retouching skin myself, I personally don't see the plastic look, mainly because in fashion this is the degree in which skin is edited. The skin is supposed to be perfect. I think he encompassed that mystery that he was going for with this photo, the allure, right? The come hither. I also think the darker eyes, what you're probably seeing is that bedroom eye that she's kind of got there. It's the eyelashes are too heavy to show the full eye, but the catch lights are there, so you do see the eyes.
Cool. Thank you, Nicole. Well defended. Lynn, would you like to share your image and tell us why the judges should judge in your favor?
I understand the request to kind of crop this thing, but maybe on the right side I agree with it, but I'm not so sure about the bottom. I know it's dark at the bottom, but I kind of like the fact that it's dark and then light and then dark and then light again. Yeah, and he could have probably brought out a little bit more detail in that sky, because I could see a little bit of cloud cover over there on the the right hand side in that part that's just above the mountains, and then it is a little dark at the top. But I actually saw another version of this on his website, and it wasn't this dark. That's what's kind of funny. This version of it is actually a little on the dark side at the top and the bottom. But I think if you crop this too much, that it would be like you're just showing those windmills, and that's it. And there's so much more to this picture than those windmills, because they're so white and so starkly contrasting to everything else. I think if you cut out all the hills at the bottom, you kind of take away some of the drama of this picture. That's all I have to say.
Cool, thank you, Lynn. We'll cut over to Stuart, who will be sharing Lisa's image. So Lisa, tell us why they're wrong. Still there? Or have you disappeared?
Lisa, she muted herself.
Oh.
I'm unmuted now. I'm here. So, I think with the darkness in the back, I actually like it. I know there was some comments about it being too dark, but there is still detail there, so I think it lends more to mystery, and it brings your eye through the front of the picture right to the back. So that's what I think about that. The straw-like stuff in the front, I think I think it's beautiful. So I got nothing to say on that. I think this is by far the best photo shown tonight. So I say vote for Paul Edwards, and all will be good with the world today.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. And Barry, back to you. What are your thoughts on the feedback you got?
Well, I can understand why Lisa would feel that way about her image, but unfortunately, in this case, she's wrong. I hear what everybody's saying about the brightness of the green in this shot, and there's certainly something to be said for toning that down a bit, but no one should be distracted from the brilliance of this macro image in which this rose has been so perfectly composed, so perfectly lit, and so perfectly focused that every minute detail is shown in the exact proper highlight and perspective. And I would challenge people to show me another macro image of a flower that really rivals this one. So I don't think there's any question about who should get the highest votes, and it's this one.
Okay. Thank you, Masters. Thank you all for sharing and being so passionate. I am just looking for the link that you need, which I left in Stuart's chat. Here we go. So I'm going to post the link here, which you will follow and add your talents to. So there it is. It's just in the chat at the bottom. Now, Stuart is playing games with me, emailing me pictures of me, silly man. Where is the HDR and more? So yeah, Masters, if you could follow that link, select however many talents you wish to give the other Masters, give yourself 0. You need to give away 5, so make sure your scores add up to 5. That way we won't have any Jessica Lark moments. Now, Stuart, you sent me an email, mate, but I don't think that's the correct image.
There are 2 images within the email, but I've got them ready to share, so it's okay. I just don't have them on Google Drive yet.
Oh, that's fine. If you're ready to share, then potentially we could share one of the 2.
Okay. Do I get to choose? Yeah?
Share away, buddy. Share away. I think it's quite clever.
Right. Okay. So, can you see what I'm sharing?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So this is the before that you guys all looked at, and I will just bring up the after. So that should change over now. So a little bit of a different crop. It's been HDR'd a bit, and obviously the feedback taken in from you guys. I will just get the exact notes that Carl had given me for what he's done to it. If you give me 2 moments.
Can you switch between those 2 images again? Because I think the after is the before.
Okay, just give me one. I'll read you what he said about it before I do that, just because I've got that window open now.
Yeah.
So he says, I made it in HDR as suggested by Ollie, brought out more detail and brightness in the coloured tiles at the top of the house as suggested by Nicole, added contrast between the shadows and the sunlight sides of the building, also suggested by Nicole, corrected the vertical perspective slightly as suggested by each of the masters in training, but I was unable to reduce the clutter of foreground bushes since there's just too much to clone out effectively. And then, yeah, he just says that he's also provided us with a little tight crop of one of the windows up in the top of the house as well. So, the things you notice when you zoom in.
Thank you, Carl. I know you live, buddy.
So yeah, so that's just the before again. That's the one there, and then I believe if I've got them the right way around, yep, this is the after. It's definitely named as being the after one. So there you go.
Right. Cool. Very good. Excellent. Not so sure about the guy in the window. Thank you, Carl. All right, I'm going to go off and tabulate these scores. And in the meantime, Stuart's going to read some poetry.
I could do that, but it's probably more likely that Tiff's going to talk to us about People's Choice.
Yeah, that would be a good idea, Tiff. Go away, Tiff. I mean, go for it, Tiff.
Okay. People have a choice, and you can make it online at a link, which you can find on the event page. or over on Twitter. I've shared it a number of times over there, and there's also in the links underneath the messages on the Arcanum Google Plus feed and Facebook feed. So now's the time to vote for your favourite. Was I supposed to be announcing a winner?
No.
You're expecting? No, good. Just checking.
No, now is a good time to remind them to get back and have their last chance to vote for themselves. So we do have. Let me just check that. I'll just check that everyone added up to 5, because that's usually the problem. 2, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5, and 5. Fantastic. Well done, Masters, in training. Round of applause. We do have a winner, and it is a clear winner by a minimum of 2 points, depending on how you look at it, but definitely a clear winner today. And that winner is, coming up after the break, is brought to you by Tim Tams. No, sorry, the winner is Lynn. Lynn has won today. Round of applause for Lynn. Congratulations.
Hey, Bo!
Yes, I'm excited. I couldn't really decide which one I would have gone for, Lynn's or Nicole's. I thought they were both, all of the images were outstanding, but those two are definitely my favourites. And I do feel a bit sad for Nicole, because the fashion, the beauty of the fashion image that you brought to us, I think, might have been lost on people who aren't used to seeing fashion images. But I completely understand that, and I have enjoyed all the images today, so thank you all for bringing them in. But congratulations to Lynn, congratulations to Bo for a beautiful landscape image. That was indeed the winner today. So, Tiff, do we need more time for the People's Choice, or can we crack into that?
Yeah, look, I've just been refreshing every 10 seconds and it keeps changing a bit, so I think maybe another minute or so.
Might need to give it a little bit more for People's Choice.
Yeah.
See, of course, now that we've announced the winner, of course, everyone who disagreed is actually going to go and vote. So that could quite possibly be detrimental to the whole entire process. But that's okay. Does anyone have, before we call it quits to the show, the main part of the show anyway, does anyone have anything they want to share with the Arcanum? And I know Pete's watching, so if you've got any words for Pete, you could fire them out now.
Go for it, Lisa.
Oh, look, I've talked to Pete lately. Yeah, I don't have anything at the moment. I might, if I can get my computer rebooted, I may have some stuff to share in the after party. But
Sure.
right now, I got nada.
That's fine. We'll let you do that.
I'll say something for everybody. We really, really appreciate everything you guys have been doing. Trey and Pete and Curtis and Ollie and Stuart, you guys, and Tiff and everybody else that's been working so hard to put all this together. It has been really a lot of fun to watch what's going on with the creation of this whole thing and right before our eyes, and to be part of this has been really astonishing and awesome.
Awesome.
Agreed.
Thank you, then.
Nicely said, Lynn.
Nicely said. I'll send that $20 to you via post if you don't mind. If it's all good, yeah. Once you convert it into US dollars, though, you'll probably be able to buy like half a packet of biscuits or cookies.
There you go.
But you know, still, $20 is $20. All right, let's call it time, Tiff. Why don't you go and give us the People's Choice winner for today?
Okay, so just to give you an idea, there's been a couple of images that have been tying and then one gets ahead of the other, but we now have a clear winner, and that's Nicole Ziegler's image from Martin Higgs. So congratulations to Martin.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And Nicole, you take away People's Choice. Well done, Martin. Beautiful image. And
I can thank my cohort.
Yes. Everyone in the cohort's been madly voting multiple times. So thank you, Tiff, for controlling that. We're going to call time on this one, and incredibly, and it's got to be something to do with the just how focused you guys are on the path of the protege, and how you've got your goals in front of you and you aim for them and you hit them. We are 9 minutes ahead of schedule, which has never happened whole history. Well, last week kind of was, but that was a rush. So well done, guys. Thank you very much for being on the show today. It was cool to see you guys in action. I hope it's whet your appetite for wanting to become masters and maybe even drive you a bit harder. So thank you all for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Been fun. So, right, that's it. That's a wrap. Call it quits.